good afternoon. Is this the party to whom I am speaking? Is this who's
What is
who?
today? Emma M. Nutt Day is observed on September 1st each year to commemorate the historic achievements of Emma M. Nutt, who was the first female telephone operator in the United States. This day serves as a tribute to her pioneering role in the field of telecommunications and recognizes the contributions of all telephone operators. Emma M. Nutt was born in 1860 in Vermont in the good old US of A. On September 1st of 1878, at the age of 18, she began working as a telephone operator for the Boston Telephone Dispatch Company. Emma made history, becoming the first woman to work as a telephone operator in the United States. At that time, telephone operators were typically young men, but her hiring marked a significant shift. Emma Nutt's success as a telephone operator helped challenge and break down gender stereotypes in the workplace. Her hiring paved the way for more women to enter the telecommunications field. What is today? Some hummingbird facts here on National Hummingbird Day, celebrated on the first Saturday in September every year, and this year it falls on September 2nd. Hummingbirds are among the smallest birds in the world. Most species measure between 3 to 5 inches in length, with their weight ranging from 2 to 20 grams, depending on the species. Hummingbirds engage in elaborate courtship displays, which often involve aerial acrobatics and vocalizations. Males display their vibrant plumage to attract females, and once they pair up, females typically build nests and raise the young on their own. Hummingbirds hover in midair by rapidly flapping their wings. They beat their wings incredibly fast, often at a rate of 50 to 80 times per second. Hummingbirds have one of the highest metabolic rates of any bird species. To sustain their energy depends. They need to feed multiple times per hour. This high metabolism is why they need a constant supply of nectar and insects. The lifespan of a hummingbird varies depending on the species, but it generally ranges from 3 to 5 years.
I got 5 pieces of candy. I got a chocolate bar. I got a quarter. I got a rock.
What is today? The first Sunday in September marks National Pet Rock Day each year. This year on September 3rd, Pet Rock Day celebrates the fad of the pet rock, which became popular in the mid-1970s. The concept behind the pet rock was simple. It was a rock, typically of ordinary smooth stone, presented as a pet. The idea was the rock required no feeding, grooming, or attention and made for a low-maintenance pet. The pet rock craze was the brainchild of Gary Dow, an advertising executive from California, and it made him a millionaire. He came up with the idea in the mid-1970s and introduced it to the public in 1975. What made the pet rock unique was not the rock itself, but rather Dow's humorous and clever marketing campaign. He packaged each pet rock in a small box with breathing holes and a straw, complete with a tongue-in-cheek instruction manual that humorously described how to care for your new pet. What is today? Labor Day is a federal holiday in the United States, observed on the first Monday in September. This year, it's on September 4th. It is a day dedicated to celebrating and honoring the American labor movement and the contributions and achievements of workers and the labor force. Labor Day also symbolically marks the end of summer and the beginning of the fall season. Labor Day has its roots in the labor union movement, particularly the labor strikes and protests of the late 19th century. The first Labor Day celebration took place on September 5th of 1882 in New York City, organized by the Central Labor Union. It became an official federal holiday in 1894 following widespread labor unrest and the Pullman strike. Labor Day is often associated with outdoor gatherings, barbecues, picnics, and family cookouts. Many people use the long weekend as an opportunity to take the final summer vacation or engage in outdoor recreational activities. Kids are going back to school and the holidays will soon be upon us. So start writing me my Christmas card. What is today? National Cheese Pizza Day is celebrated annually on September 5th. I'm just going to shut up and we are going to savor this moment. What is today? Read a Book Day is an unofficial holiday celebrated on September 6th each year. As the name suggests, it encourages people to take some time out of their day to read a book. We've discussed it before. When writing systems were created in ancient civilizations, a variety of objects such as stone, clay, tree bark, metal sheets, and bones were used for writing. Then came paper. Oh, good old paper. Monotype and linotype typesetting machines were introduced in the late 19th century. They could set more than 6,000 letters per hour in an entire line of type at once. Today, the majority of books are printed by offset lithography. When a book is printed, the pages are laid out on the plate so that after the printed sheet is folded, the page will be in the correct sequence. Some books, particularly those with shorter runs, will be printed on sheet-fed offset presses, but most books are now printed on web presses, which are fed by a continuous roll of paper and consequently print more copies in a shorter time. Grab yourself a book and get reading. What is today? It's National Feel the Love Day on September 7th, and this is off the cuff. Gals and guys, I did not script this one. Feel the love. I mean, love someone. Love your neighbor. Love your family. Love your friends. Love the guy that cut you off in traffic. I mean, let him go. I know sometimes that's hard, but you never know what's going through that person's head. They might have made a mistake. Not a very good mistake, but a mistake. You never know what's going on with someone. If someone's all grumpy and grouchy, what's going on with them? Why are they grumpy and grouchy? Try not to judge them. Try to love them, because you don't know what people are going through. You don't know when you see a stranger walking down the street what their problems are. You don't know what's going on inside of them. And most importantly, love yourself. I know for some of us it's hard sometimes, but give yourself a break and give yourself some love. Make sure you give everyone else some love. And make sure you give me some love. All right. Have a great National Feel the Love Day and feel the love. I love you all. Peace.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
What is today? And this is taken from the official website. On September 8th of 1966, Star Trek debuted for the first time on television with A Man Trapped, the pilot episode of Star Trek the Original Series. On that day, Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry introduced audiences to a world that championed diversity, inclusion, acceptance, and hope. 57 years later, we celebrate the day and the franchise's enduring legacy with the 4th annual Star Trek Day celebration. And this is from me. Other series followed, such as The Next Generation, Voyager, and Enterprise. My personal favorite of all time is Deep Space Nine by far. We had the J.J. Abrams films. Picard returned with a new series, with the 3rd season being spectacular in my opinion. And of course, a slew of new series on Paramount Plus for, well, The Next Generation, literally. So have yourself a good Star Trek day and live long and prosper. There's no clear reason or person who made this day possible, but we'll celebrate National Teddy Bear Day on September 9th regardless. It all began with an incident involving then President of the United States, Theodore Teddy Roosevelt, in November of 1902. President Roosevelt was on a hunting trip in Mississippi and had not been able to find any bears to shoot. His companions caught a young bear and tied it to a tree, offering it to the president as a trophy. However, President Roosevelt refused to shoot the defenseless bear, and he considered it unsportsmanlike and cruel. This act of kindness by the president garnered significant media attention, and a political cartoonist named Clifford Berryman depicted the incident in a widely circulated cartoon. This cartoon inspired a toy maker named Morris Mictom to create a stuffed bear and named it Teddy's Bear in honor of President Roosevelt. Morris Mictom's wife, Rose, sewed the first teddy bear, and it became an instant sensation. Take some time to appreciate those iconic and huggable toys that have been comforting and bringing smiles to people's face for over a century. What is today? Jacob Reingold of the Hebrew home at Riverdale was inspired to pioneer the day efforts. By 1963, Grandparents' Day became an official holiday in the borough of the Bronx. Russell Capper, age 9 in 1969, sent a letter to President Nixon suggesting a special day to be set aside as Grandparents' Day. In 1970, Marion McQuaid began her own campaign to establish a special day of recognition from grandparents. Through her efforts, she reached out to the civic, business, faith, and political leaders and began a statewide campaign for Grandparents' Day. National Grandparents' Day is a holiday in the United States that is celebrated on the first Sunday in September after Labor Day, established on August 3rd, 1978, when President Jimmy Carter signed a proclamation designating it as a national holiday. On Grandparents' Day, many people take the time to visit or call their grandparents to express their love and appreciation. Some families organize special activities or events to celebrate the day, such as family gatherings, picnics, and outings. Call your grandparents and tell them Chris says hi. What is today? Patriot Day is an observance in the United States held on September 11th each year to remember and honor the victims of the terrorist attacks that occurred on September 11, 2001. On that tragic day, 19 terrorists associated with the extremist group Al-Qaeda hijacked 4 commercial airlines, crashing 2 of them into the World Trade Centers in New York City, 1 into the Pentagon near Washington, D.C., and the 4th plane, United Airlines Flight 93, crashed in Pennsylvania after passengers fought back against the hijackers. The attacks on September 11th, 2001 resulted in the deaths of nearly 3,000 people, caused widespread devastation and shock across the nation. Patriot Day serves as a solemn reminder of the lives lost and the heroism displayed by first responders, emergency personnel, and ordinary citizens who came together in the face of tragedy. In addition to honoring the victims and heroes of 9/11, Patriot Day encourages acts of service, reflection, and unity. What is today? National Policewoman Day is celebrated annually on September 12th. The day honors the contributions of female police officers across the United States. In the 1850s, the city of New York employed police matrons to guard and search prisoners who were females, but that was the extent of their duties, and they had no authority within law enforcement. It is believed that the first female police officer in the United States was a woman named Mary Owens. Owens joined the police department in Chicago, Illinois in 1891, which was almost 30 years before women even earned the right to vote in the United States. She held the rank of sergeant and was a specialist in enforcing child labor and welfare laws. 1910 brought the appointment of Alice Wells, a policewoman in Los Angeles. A college-educated social worker, Wells developed as a pioneer in the movement towards creating a place for more women in the police force across the United States. Today, only roughly 10% of the police force in the United States is made up of women. National Police Women Day hopes to rectify that by encouraging more women to join the service. What is today? I don't think this day aged very well. National Hug Your Boss Day was created by TipTopJob.com in 2008 with the intent of creating improved workplace relations. I don't really think you should do that in the year 2023. A handshake, sure. A fist bump, most definitely. Even a high five seems acceptable. A hug? Not so much. You just walk in his or her office and tell them they need a hug? How do you even approach that? Trying to remember back to 2008. I guess those were different times. I never hugged my boss that I recall. The thought never crossed my mind. Now, if you're married, you can hug your wife because we all know she's usually the boss. Same goes with girlfriends, most likely. I suppose you could hug Tony Danza if you see him because all of us 1980s kids knew he was the boss. This is a terrible idea for a day. Don't hug your boss. It's weird and creepy. Cut down on those sexual harassment charges. Don't hug your boss on National Hug Your Boss Day. What is today? On September 14th, we observe Gobstopper Day. Gobstoppers, also known as jawbreakers in the United States and Canada, are a type of hard candy. The term gobstopper derives from gob, which is slang in the United Kingdom and Ireland for mouth. Gobstoppers usually consist of a number of layers, each layer dissolving to reveal a different color and sometimes a different flavored layer before dissolving completely. Author Ronald Dahl referred to them in his fictional Everlasting Gobstopper, which was featured in his 1964 children's novel, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. In 2003, Taquandra Diggs, a 9-year-old girl in Stark, Florida, suffered severe burns, allegedly from biting an exploding Wonka Everlasting Gobstopper that had been refrigerated, left out in the sun, then refrigerated again. Diggs and several others alleged victims' families filed lawsuits against Nestle for medical bills resulting from plastic surgery, as well as pain and suffering. The matters were later settled outside of court for an undisclosed amount. That's weird. What is today? Butterscotch Cinnamon Pie Day, celebrated on September 15th, is more of a contemporary holiday with the origins found inside a video game. Butterscotch Cinnamon Pie Day came from a video game called Undertale, where the pie first appeared. Undertale is a pixel-style role-playing game produced by an American video game developer, Toby Fox. Its first launch was in 2015. The Butterscotch Cinnamon Pie makes its debut in the scene where the player's character meets Toriel, a monster of motherly nature. Toriel takes you into their home and, as part of making you feel comfortable, feeds you this lovely pie that fills you with determination. When the game became a popular sensation back in 2016, fans who loved the game aimed to recreate the pie, and turns out it really was delicious as it sounded. Hence came forth Butterscotch Cinnamon Pie Day, a day dedicated to this pie as well as the creation of the Undertale fandom. You can find the recipe to Butterscotch Cinnamon Pie down in the YouTube description. What is today? Try to do my best Christian Bale accent. Batman Day is an annual event organized by DC Entertainment to celebrate and promote Batman. The first Batman Day was July 23rd of 2014. That was the year of the 75th anniversary of the first appearance of Batman in Detective Comics in 1939. The day was chosen to coincide with the San Diego Comic-Con. Subsequent Batman Days have been on the third Saturday in September. In early 1939, the success of Superman and Action Comics prompted editors at National Comic Publications, later to be DC Comics, to request more superheroes for its titles. Bill Finger, the writer who worked with artist Bob Kane to create Batman in 1939, finally in 2015 received official credit from DC Entertainment for his contributions to the character, a culmination of a long battle by his family and other creators on behalf of Finger and his legacy. Bob Kane did everything he could to suppress Bill Finger's involvement in the creation of Batman. Kane negotiated a deal with DC, bringing fame and fortune as sole creator. Yep, he was pretty scummy.
Hidden headquarters of America's #1 crime fighter, Batman. Yes, Batman.
I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
I see without seeing. To me, darkness is as clear as daylight.
Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman! Do you bleed?
I'm vengeance.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. I am Batman.
What is today? This day is believed to be originated in the northeastern United States around Pennsylvania. National Apple Dumpling Day is feasted on September 17th of every year. You can celebrate the day by baking up a fresh order of apple dumplings. Perhaps you can enjoy eating some apple dumplings while watching the 1975 Walt Disney movie, The Apple Dumpling Gang, and the sequel. An apple dumpling is a baked or boiled pastry wrapped apple. To prepare apple dumplings, apples are peeled, cored, and sometimes quartered, and placed on a portion of dough. The dough is folded over apples and sealed. Sometimes a spice sauce is poured over the dumplings, which are then baked until tender. The sugar and butter create a sweet sauce. 2 recipes for apple dumplings were published in Hannah Glass's 1747 cookbook. In 1749 to 1750, when botanist Pere Combe traveled from New Jersey to Quebec, he reported having apple dumplings at every meal. In 1754, English agriculturalist William Ellis called them one of the most common foods among farmers, along with bacon and pickled pork. What is today? This is an extra special day. Not only is it U.S. Air Force Day, but we recognize it as the 75th anniversary, celebrated on September 18th. The U.S. War Department created the first origins of the U.S. Air Force as part of the U.S. Army on August 1st of 1907, which through a succession of changes of organization, titles, and mission advanced towards eventual independence 40 years later. The U.S. Army Air Forces was virtually independent of the Army during World War II, and in virtually every way functioned as an independent service branch, but airmen still pressed for formal independence. The National Security Act of 1947 was signed on July 26th of 1947, which established the Department of the Air Force, but it was not until September 18th of 1947 when the first Secretary of the Air Force, W. Stuart Symington, was sworn into office that the Air Force was officially formed as an independent service branch of the United States Armed Forces. What is today? Avast, you hearties. Tuesday, September 19th is National Talk Like a Pirate Day, and you don't want to look like a scallywag. John Bauer and Mark Summers, a.k.a. Old Chum Bucket and Captain Slappy, created this international day on June 6, 1995. Out of respect for World War II's D-Day, Bauer and Summers chose to move the date of the holiday to September 19th. It was also the date of Summers' ex-wife's birthday, selected because it didn't coincide with any other observance, and because it would be easy for him to remember. It was June 6th of 1995, and Mark Summers and John Bauer were playing a game of racquetball. All throughout, they were shouting encouragement to each other when they started randomly chiding each other in pirate slang. The pair decided they would spend an entire day talking like pirates, just for fun. For the next 7 years, they honored this holiday in relative obscurity until they happened upon an email address of one Dave Barry, a syndicated columnist and author of a great many books. In 2002, Dave Barry promoted the holiday, and it's been going strong ever since. What is today? The Florida Crime and Intelligence Analyst Association, the FCIAA, voted in 2021 to have September 20th recognized as National Crime and Intelligence Analyst Appreciation Day, or NCIAAD for short. You gotta love those abbreviations and acronyms. Crime and intelligence analysts play a crucial role in law enforcement and security agencies by gathering and analyzing data to support investigation and enhance public safety. They provide valuable insights that help law enforcement agencies make informed decisions and solve crimes. According to the official FCIAA website, the Florida Crime and Intelligence Analyst Association was founded in May of 1995 as a professional association. It began in a training class taught by Steve Gottlieb in Vero Beach, Florida. The vision of the founding members were to develop a network in which vital information about emerging crime trends, critical intelligence information, and educational and training issues could be shared. The other part of the vision was to create a process by which those involved in this career field could be clearly recognized as professionals. Escapology Day takes place on September 21st, on the anniversary of the date in 1912 when Harry Houdini first publicly performed his water torture cell escape, which took place at the Circus Busch in Berlin, Germany. Houdini performed it on many occasions, and it became one of his most well-known feats. Houdini began his magic career in 1891, but had little success. He performed in dime museums and sideshows and even doubled as the Wild Man at a circus. Houdini focused initially on traditional card tricks. At one point, he billed himself as the King of Cards. Professional magicians would come to regard Houdini as a competent but not particularly skilled sleight-of-hand artist, lacking the grace and finesse required to achieve excellence in that craft. He soon began experimenting with escape acts, which history knows him best for. There is one thing he couldn't escape from. Master escape artist Harry Houdini died on Halloween in 1926 from a ruptured appendix, so happy Escapology Day. Now watch carefully as I escape out of this video. What is today? Hobbit Day is a name used for September 22nd in reference to it being the birthday of the hobbits Bilbo and Frodo Baggins, two fictional characters in J.R.R. Tolkien's popular set of books, The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. According to the books, Bilbo Baggins was born during the Third Age in 2890, which equates to 1290 based on our timeline. Frodo Baggins was born 78 years later in 2966, which equates to 1368. I don't know. Tolkien once said that the Shire calendar is ahead by about 10 days, depending on the month. A suggested alternative date by hardcore fans is September 14th, although the day was not officially designated until 1978 and has had many names and designations. It has been celebrated since 1973, shortly after J.R.R. Tolkien died on September 2nd of that year. Lots going on in September. Happy Hobbit Day, and just remember, I don't know half of you half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve. What is today? We've arrived here once again somehow. We give a final farewell to summer for 2023 and welcome the first day of autumn and the fall equinox today on this September 23rd of 2023. The fall equinox, also known as the autumn equinox, is one of the 2 points in the year when the length of day and night is nearly equal in most parts of the world. It marks the official start of the fall or autumn season in the northern hemisphere. The fall equinox typically occurs around September 21st, 22nd, or 23rd each year, depending on the precise astronomical calculations. The fall equinox has been celebrated in various cultures throughout history as a time of harvest festivals and Thanksgiving. It's a time when many crops are ready for harvesting and people give thanks for the abundance of food that will sustain them through the upcoming winter months. I personally look forward to picking apples and boiling up some applesauce. Perhaps take a drive and explore to see all the leaves that have changed color. What do you like to do, or what do you like most during the fall months? It's audience participation time. Don't let me down. What is today? The term Bollywood is a blending of Bombay, the former name of Mumbai, and Hollywood. It was coined to describe the Hindi language film industry in India, and we celebrate World Bollywood Day on September 24th. Bollywood has a rich history dating back to the early 20th century. The first Indian feature film, Raja Harishchandra, was released in 1913. Over the decades, Bollywood has evolved and grown into a global cultural phenomenon. Bollywood produces a wide range of film genres, including romantic drama, action films, comedies, thrillers, and historical epics. Musical numbers are a significant part of most Bollywood films, and elaborate song and dance sequences are a hallmark of the industry. The term Bollywood has been criticized by some film journalists and critics who believe it implies that the industry is a poor cousin of Hollywood. I don't think that. Many noted Hindi film actors and directors prefer to call it Hindi cinema rather than Bollywood and advise others to mention it as Hindi cinema. You can call it whatever you want. It's both the same thing. What is today? I need some atonement and repentance in my life. Not towards me towards others. Yom Kippur is here to recognize the sincere regret or remorse we have in our lives. I'm not typically Jewish, but I will be today. Otherwise known as the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur is considered the holiest day in Judaism. The holiday lasts approximately 25 hours and is typically observed with fasting and prayer in alignment with the themes of atonement and repentance. As one of the most cultural significant Jewish holidays, Yom Kippur is observed by many secular Jews who may not observe other holidays. Many secular Jews attend synagogue on Yom Kippur. For many secular Jews, the high holy days are the only times of the year during which they attend synagogue, causing synagogue attendance to soar. Yom Kippur, people observing the holiday are asked to abstain from food and drink, as well as bathing in marital relations. That's a bummer. In turn, it is encouraged that people spend the day asking God's forgiveness for their sins and donating to charity. Happy Yom Kippur, my Jewish friends, and thank you for allowing me to be Jewish today. What is today? I had no idea what a chimichanga was. I've heard people talk about it and how great it is, but I had zero clue what exactly it was until now on this National Chimichanga Day on September 26th. The chimichanga is a deep-fried burrito that is commonly found in Tex-Mex and southwestern U.S. cuisine. The dish is made by filling a flour tortilla with various ingredients, typically including rice, cheese, beans, and a choice of meat such as machaca, dried meat, carne adobada, marinated meat, carne seca, dried beef, or shredded chicken. Most researchers agree that the chimichanga was created by accident at a Mexican restaurant in Arizona in the United States, although they disagree over precisely where. Did Monica Flynn, the founder of the Tucson, Arizona restaurant El Charro, accidentally drop a burrito in deep fat fryer in 1922? Or was it Woody Johnson, the founder of Mexican restaurant chain Macayo's Mexican Kitchen, claimed he invented the chimichanga in 1946? Who the hell knows? So what is today? I was originally going to spotlight National Chocolate Milk Day, but my dog ate my script. National No Excuses Day, celebrated on September 27th, is the day that we stop making excuses and make sure that we have some fun. Founded by the Canadian organization SCENE, National No Excuse Day is meant to promote social interaction among people. I can't do that. I need to look for a job. But I can't look for a job because I have to do this video. The people demand it. In 2019, SCENE's membership reached the milestone number of 10 million. As Canada's largest entertainment-related loyalty program, the organization and its board decided to go big with their celebrations with the help of its partners, Canada's Scotiabank and Cineplex chain of movie theaters. SCENE used the milestone as part of a publicity campaign to mark September 27th as National No Excuses Day. Now, I would celebrate it, but I plan to fall over in the shower and knock myself out. I think I may be missing the point. I guess I really don't have no excuse on National No Excuses Day. Why is a driveway called a driveway if we park on it? And a parkway is called a parkway if we drive on it? What is today? Ask a Stupid Question Day is dedicated to encouraging people to ask questions without fear of judgment, no matter how simple or seemingly stupid those questions may seem to be. Why is water wet? During the 1980s, a bunch of teachers realized that their students weren't asking questions for fear of sounding stupid. Those teachers created a day dedicated to letting students ask the questions they were most ashamed of. Who were those teachers? I have no idea. That's a pretty stupid question. If he had been bitten by a radioactive man, would Spider-Man's name have been Man-Man? The idea behind this day is to promote curiosity, learning, and open communication by creating a safe and non-judgmental space for asking questions. So if you have any burning questions, whether they're complex or seemingly silly, September 28th is the day to ask them. They say no question is a stupid question. I tend to disagree, but ask them anyway on Ask a Stupid Question Day. Why do I do these videos? I don't have a good answer. What is today? It's National Coffee Day, Jennifer, on September 29th. I wish I was there with you sharing a coffee right now. National Coffee Day was celebrated in about 2005, but did not take off as a holiday until September 29th of 2009. That's the day that the Southern Food and Beverage Museum in New Orleans labeled the day as Coffee Day as a kickoff to an inaugural New Orleans Coffee Festival. The earliest credible evidence of coffee drinking or knowledge of the coffee tree appears in the middle of the 15th century in the accounts of Ahmad al-Ghaffar in Yemen, where coffee seeds were first roasted and brewed in a similar way to how it is prepared now. Accounts differ on the origins of the coffee plant prior to its appearance in Yemen. From Ethiopia, coffee could have been introduced to Yemen via trade across the Red Sea. One account credits Muhammad ibn Sa'd from bringing the beverage to Aden from the African coast. Regardless, I lift my Dunkin' Donuts coffee to you all, and I drink to sipping a cup or two with Jennifer someday once again. Who is Jennifer, may you ask? Mind your own business and drink your coffee. What is today? National Chewing Gum Day is chomped and chewed every year on September 30th in the United States. Chewing gum's origins can be traced back to ancient civilizations like many things. The Mayans, Aztecs, and other indigenous cultures in Mesoamerica used chicle, a natural latex sap from the sapodilla tree, as a base for chewing gum. They would add various flavorings like sweeteners and spices to make it more palatable. In 1848, John B. Curtis developed and sold the first commercial chewing gum, which was called the State of Maine Pure Spruce Gum. Around 1850, a gum made from paraffin wax was developed and surpassed the spruce gum in popularity. The oldest piece of chewing gum was found in Kyrikki, Finland, and it was 5,000 years old. Found in 2007 by a British archaeology student, the piece of gum was made of bark tar, which was believed to be an antiseptic. Centuries-old teeth marks could be clearly seen on the piece. In the late 19th century, Thomas Adam experimented with chicle as a potential substitute for rubber. Although his attempts to create rubber substitutes were unsuccessful, he realized that chicle could be used to make chewing gum. In 1871, Adam sold gum in the flavor of sour orange. While this one didn't maintain popularity, the following year Adams created Blackjack, which is a licorice-flavored gum that has continued to be manufactured off and on for more than 100 years. In 1891, Wrigley started out as a soap and baking soda company, but they started giving out free packs of gum with every purchase. In an unexpected turn of events, the gum was more popular, so they began selling the gum on its own. Wrigley established the Wrigley Company. The 20th century saw the growth of the chewing gum industry, with various companies introducing new flavors, ingredients, and marketing strategies. Bubblegum became a sensation, with brands like Double Bubble and Bazooka gaining popularity. I remember Bubble Yum and Bubblicious.